Hey, what's up guys? Eric here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the brand new Blue Beetle trailer. That's right, the final trailer has been released, and we're going to watch it together here in a second, but this is a beefy trailer. It's 3 minutes and 18 seconds long, which is a pretty long trailer. I felt like the first trailer that we got was kind of just a clip of the movie. Yeah, there was some stuff at the end, but it was like an extended scene sort of from the movie, and it told us quite a bit about like the suit and how he discovers it and all of that. And I felt like, okay, this tells us a lot. This trailer, I have to admit, I watched about 2 minutes of it on Twitter already, and I'm like, this gives away a lot as well. Like, I feel like the trailer is just the movie kind of smushed into like 3 minutes, and I don't know who's making the trailers for this film, but it feels like they're just trying to give away everything. So I'm going to say, before we watch this, if you don't want to be spoiled pretty much on anything in this movie, I would say avoid the trailer, right? I know I'm saying that in a video where we're talking about it, but I would say if you want to go into this movie completely 100% without any information more than what we already have, this trailer is going to give away a lot. However, if you don't care about that and you just want to get hyped for Blue Beetle, I think this trailer is going to deliver on that. And again, we're going to watch it here in a second. Also have some news about Aquaman 2. We'll talk about that at the end. And then briefly, I'm going to talk about what's happening with the strike for the Screen Actors Guild. Very, very briefly. I'll probably do a full video on that tomorrow if the strike actually happens. Okay, so before we watch this trailer, again, it's 3 minutes and 18 seconds. If you're watching this video and the trailer has miraculously disappeared, that is because it has been claimed by the copyright gods, and I had to remove it. But I'll put a link for it down below. So if you want to go watch it and then come back here and discuss it with us, you can. I'm going to lower the volume. I've got the closed captioning on. Let's see if they are kind enough to me to not block this video. All right, so here we go. We're going to watch the trailer straight through, and then we'll talk about it and the villain of the movie and stuff. We're going to get claimed, so congratulations. All right, we're back now. Let's see if this gets claimed. There was music playing through pretty much the entire thing. So we're going to go through this kind of quickly here. So we get the beginning part of the trailer where it shows the suit getting activated. And we saw that in the first trailer, so that's really not new. That was something that we'd already seen. See him flying around. We get the scene with the bus again, which, by the way, very reckless scene, but it's a superhero movie, I guess. And then we get to see like the beginning of the Carapax stuff, him fighting like the preliminary suit. There's the final suit, I'm going to assume, which is basically this one here from the comics. And so it is obviously, it's from the comics. It's not necessarily for the movies alone. But it's very reminiscent, I think, of the Ironmonger thing with the first Iron Man movie. Because, I mean, it's, that's how it is, really. And then you get to see like the first iteration of the suit here, which is like the pre-Carapax suit. Fighting him, and I'm assuming that this is where he ends up like getting mad because Blue Beetle beats him, so they go back and work on another version of it. Yeah, so more fighting. We get to see him defending his family. We get to see them working in the Blue Beetle lair on weapons. We get some more fighting with different things. The visual effects in this, I think, are pretty good. I don't really have an issue with any of them, to be honest. I think it looks, as far as I'm concerned, it looks pretty solid. So let's talk about my concerns with Blue Beetle. All right, I do have a few of them. DC has been struggling a little bit, I think is probably the nice way to put it. Like the Flash movie underperformed so severely that I think it's the biggest, they said it's the biggest financial flop in the history of Warner Brothers, which it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying it's just unbelievable that we were there with a movie about the Flash. We've had a rough go with Shazam 2. We had a rough go with Black Adam. It's just they've not had a good track record of films right now. And I'm not one of these people who buys into the quote-unquote superhero fatigue thing. I think that there might be story fatigue. There might be things that people have seen where they go, that's reminiscent of something else that I've already seen. I don't want to see it again. And we may be seeing something like that, like in terms of story. So this to me looks like a rehash of sort of the first Iron Man movie with like some of that Spider-Man energy injected into it, which if I had to mash up the two characters, the vibe that I'm getting from this movie, that's exactly what I'm getting. And I'm hoping that people that see the trailer don't go, there's a couple things I don't want them to take away from this. One is feel like they've seen the whole movie from the trailer, which I'll admit, I think it actually did show way too much of the film, to be completely honest. And my issue with that is maybe that was the only exciting stuff they had to show were the big fights. Maybe there wasn't anything else in the movie to sort of draw people in, and they just decided to show those. I'm not totally sure. But it makes me a little bit concerned. The other thing is I don't want people to see the trailer and go, I've seen this before. It feels like a movie I've already watched, and they don't go out and see it. Keep in mind, this movie, as far as I know, the budget on the high end, like the top end budget for this movie is 120 million, which still puts it well below, like almost by 100 million than some of the other movies they've invested in terms of like blockbuster films. So the movie doesn't have the amount of money that it has to make to be a success isn't as massive as some of the other films that have come out from DC, and especially not Flash. So it's possible the movie could sort of catch on, get really good word of mouth. I don't think it's a front-loaded movie. I don't think this movie is going to have like a huge first weekend. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it's going to have a moderate weekend. Like it might reach projection. It might, perform right as much as like right where they expect to perform. I don't see it overperforming is what I'm saying. So it might reach its projection. It might satisfy the studio there. It might be something they go, hey, we reached our numbers. It's that second weekend where I think we're going to find out if this movie is going to do what it needs to do to be a financial success for Warner Brothers. Now, from a creative success standpoint, because that's how I watch movies, for me, I want the character to feel fully realized. I want us to get a really solid movie about a superhero that we have not seen at this scale in live action. Blue Beetle, this version of Blue Beetle we've seen in cartoons, obviously popular in the cartoons franchises, popular in the comic books, but this could be a big moment for this character. This could be make it or break it, because, trust me, if people had a really good reaction to Black Adam, even though it didn't perform financially, and Black Adam was something that people just resonated with and talked about with and really supported and couldn't understand why it didn't do well and gave the studio the impression they were interested in it, maybe we would see Black Adam again. But if people don't engage with it and they don't feel compelled by it, the studio is not going to be interested in it. So as long as this Blue Beetle is good and does well and fans love it, they may use this character in another film. We may see Blue Beetle pop up again in like a group film or another, like a duo film or something like that. And I think that's important to remember. So don't get so wrapped up in the numbers with the movies when you're going to see it and how you feel about the film. This is something that I tell people all the time. The scores on Rotten Tomatoes, the sales, whatever that may be, do not let that affect your opinion about a movie's quality based on how you feel. You should be 100% honest about how you feel about something, whether it underperforms or overperforms at the box office. If it's a movie that does really well and you don't like it, you don't have to justify it. You just say, I don't like it. You don't have to dive into why. Or if you love it and it underperforms, you also don't have to do that. But I know that's not how the fandom works. People always have to give a million reasons why, I guess. But I'm hoping to be really entertained. That's it. And the movie comes out again on the 18th here in the US. I think the 16th is going to be opening. I saw the 16th somewhere, but the 18th is when it comes out in the US. So I would say, just to be safe, if you want to avoid spoilers on the movie outside of the trailer, start thinking about not engaging with it on the 16th, because that's when people are going to start seeing it. I know some parts of the world, like Paige told me, in Australia, it comes out a month later. So it doesn't come out for a whole month. So that's going to be really rough for people around the world. That's why I'm worried about this movie, because we won't get really any final numbers until it's released everywhere, and it's going to take over a month. So I see this movie's got a huge uphill battle. All right, let's talk about Aquaman 2 here very briefly. So I made a video a while back talking about the reshoots for Aquaman 2 and how I was kind of shocked because the movie's already over 200 million. Well, the issue is now they're going back again for more reshoots, and this goes with all the conversations that I heard, all the stuff going on online, where I talked about the fact that the trailer at CinemaCon did not inspire anybody. Most people that saw that trailer hated it. They did not like it at all. The trailer, when it comes to like getting people hyped for this movie, the general reaction from people that loved the first Aquaman movie was the trailer did not make the movie look good. So they're going back in for reshoots. Now, I have some theories on what this could be. It could be one of two things. It could be a reaction to that CinemaCon trailer where people saw it and they were not engaged with it. They said, you know what, I'm just not interested in seeing this or whatever. And so the studio was like, we have to do something because people are not liking this, which under David Zaslav's rule, when it comes to finances, I find that hard to believe. I feel like that he would push hard for them to just go move forward with the movie as it is, because financially they didn't want to invest any more money into a movie that was already over 205 million to make, which means this is going to put it probably in the 215, 220, maybe even 230 range when it comes down to it with reshoots. Some reshoots can go upwards of 50 million for a reshoot, which would make this movie almost as expensive as Indiana Jones 5, which is a little bit crazy to me. The other thing is, it's quite possible that there was something in this movie that connected it to the Flash movie, And after they saw what happened to the Flash, they need to erase that from existence. So it's quite possible it's a smaller reshoot that's not going to be super expensive, where they're just going in and redoing something in the movie that connects it to the Flash film to take it out completely, so that this movie is completely standalone from the Flash movie, so there's no connection to that, which is also a weird knee-jerk reaction because nobody would be privy to that until they actually go and see the movie. And I feel like they might be trying to avoid being memed or whatever by doing this. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm actually kind of shocked they're going through with these reshoots, and we'll have to figure out like where it's going from there. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Blue Beetle movie. Are you excited for it? Do you think it's going to be huge and massive and a critical success? Do you think it's going to be a financial success? Are you just worried about what you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think about this news from Aquaman 2 about the reshoots. Do you think it's because of the backlash to the trailer at CinemaCon, which was not received well? Or do you think it has more to do with the Flash and the fact that the Flash didn't perform financially, and maybe David Zaslav's like, look, we have to change it. We have to make it different. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about that down below. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave me a comment and a like, and talk to everybody later. Bye.